And Ted, I'm trying to just understand the issue around the funding of Eskom over the next 2 years. So there is that funding of 59 billion, that's for the next 2 years. Up until March of 2020, there's 26 billion, but there's already talk about Eskom having a liquidity shortfall and needing more money.
Okay, and you've forgotten the 26 billion that they got in February this year. So the fact of the matter is, by the end of next year, by their own projections, Parliament has indicated that Eskom will need about 105 billion rand. Against that, again, Eskom is now indicating that there's going to be a shortfall. And it's not unexpected. I fully expect that, because I've got a copy of Eskom's model, and it shows to me that if they get anything under 25% tariff increases per annum, they're hitting the wall.
And I mean, that's a big ask, because economically our growth is slowing, and for Eskom to survive, the tariffs need to increase, and it doesn't make sense.
Well, because there's a big puncture. There's a puncture in Eskom's model since 2001, and government hasn't woken up to the puncture. That's the big problem. And so it's welcoming that the Minister of Finance is starting to take control over some of the issues, but unfortunately he's not in full receipt of all the critical information regarding Eskom.
So part of what this article that I'm looking at talks about is Eskom receiving more money if it's unable to implement and execute its funding plan. Why would it not be able to implement this funding plan?
Okay, the reason why Eskom cannot implement its funding plan is because the market has lost confidence in Eskom's ability to ever pay this money back. So Eskom's been downgraded to below junk status, or deep junk status. It's only been propped up by a government guarantee, which is just simmering above junk status. And the fact of the matter is that the government, the market, has now heard all the allegations of corruption, all the allegations of inefficiency, all the allegations of overrun of projects. And I mean, it's a message I've been giving the market for more than 10 years about the corruption. And frankly, the market is now saying, well, you know what? Until you turn around Eskom, there's no more money.
Yeah. Full
stop. Whether you want it through the fiscus or whether you want it directly to Eskom, there's no more money, because I think the market has realized that the money is going in the front door and straight out the back.
Well, I'm trying to look for a shred of good news here, and it's difficult. Let's talk about the Finance Minister's blueprint to turn around the economy. And part of what he's talking about there is perhaps selling some of Eskom's power stations. Now, we know Medupi, Kusile, they're billion rands over budget. It's not like we'll ever recoup that money, will we?
Okay, so an off-the-shelf, and I've done the calculations to help this discussion, an off-the-shelf Medupi should have cost, at the time of 2008, no more than 33 billion. That was the quote that Eskom received. The current value, book value of Medupi in Eskom's books is over 170 billion. So you've got to ask yourself, why in your mind would you want to pay 170 billion for an asset that's only worth about 35 billion, and in fact not functioning properly? It's functioning at less than 60% efficiency. So to look at the numbers that the minister has been given, I see it's quite I mean, I've gone through the report. It's quite a wide-ranging report.
Yeah.
It's gone back more than 10 years to certain assumptions, but unfortunately they ignore the elephant in the room, and that is the fact of the matter that the current Eskom tariff of over 115 cents a kilowatt hour is corrupted. It should be no more than 50 cents a kilowatt hour. And that whole elephant that's in the room that's being ignored is smashing any plans of a renewal of the economy, of beneficiation of our minerals, of the RDP or the National Development Plan. They're all smashed to ribbons and mean nothing until you sort out the elephant in the room, and that is the high tariffs. You've got to sort out the corrupted tariffs and the inefficiency at Eskom. Until the government wakes up, and I hope the minister is alert enough to wake up. And if he wants to have a discussion about this, I'm more than willing to do that discussion. But the fact of the matter is, you can talk until the cows come home, until you ignore the fact, or acknowledge the fact that Eskom, at its current rate of pricing, is killing the energy-intensive industry. You just are going to go nowhere.
Ted, I feel like you and I have had this discussion so many times over the past few years.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You are 100% right. But it seems to me we've got a government that doesn't want to listen. It doesn't want to listen to experts in the industry. It's misreading what Eskom is telling them. And, I mean, I think the logic tells them that there's a problem. But seemingly ideologically, they don't want to acknowledge that they have created a problem. That's where the problem is.
We'll be continuing this discussion. Thanks very much, as always, Ted Blom, for coming into studio.